I've always liked to play with fire. I've always liked to play with fire. I ride the edge, my speed goes in the red. Hot blood, these veins, my pleasure is their pain. I love to watch the castles burn. These golden ashes turn to dirt. I've always liked to play with fire.
Hello, my lovelies. I have recently been asked, hey, Mrs. M, can we do spell work without adding the herbs, the candles, the crystals, all that stuff? Can I do a spell? Yes, but for me, I wouldn't really call that a spell. But yes, you can manifest something without using all those things. Why do I use all those things? Well, for me, in the way that I believe on the path that I'm on, I believe that every time I do spell work, or anytime I set an intention or a manifestation, I use my energy to change the reality. Well, that using of energy depletes my own, and I don't want to always deplete my own energy. So I use crystals, I use candles, I use different herbs, I use things, I borrow their energy instead of depleting mine.
So this is going to be one of those, if you know what I'm asking, you know what I'm asking videos. What was your card that you were most drawn to, and is your yes card out of your deck? Duet this and let me know.
Merry meet witches and blessed Beltane. So one of the things, and remember this is all the way till the 1st of June, one of the things that I wanted to share is that during this season, it is the easiest time for us to travel to the other world, to the spirit world, and to communicate with the departed. It is a great subject to research. Communicating with the dead, I think it's an honorable thing. Okay? And no, you do not have to be a medium to communicate with the departed or honor them or respect them. Hope this helps.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way.
Some art I'm working on and finished.
I'm worth every bit of chaos I bring to the table. And you know it.
Welcome to Witchy Life 101, where I give you the information and see what you do with it. Today we're talking candles. So think of this as the intro to candle magic. Today I will be going over the different types of candles and what they're good for, and possibly getting into the colors and their meanings. If not, I'll do that in another video. Quick PSA before I start. If it don't apply, let it fly. If it don't resonate, leave it at the gate. If you do not agree with what I am saying, that does not make me wrong. And that does not make you wrong. That just means our practices are different. I have unfortunately lost a couple of friends on this app because they do not agree with how I teach and they do not agree with what I'm saying. I'm sorry that your practice is different than mine, but it doesn't invalidate it. However, if you agree and resonate with what I am saying, please follow along. There are multiple other videos and there will be more in this series, as well as me going live pretty fucking often from now on to talk about this as well. So with that being said, let's get started. We're going to start with the most popular candle shape out there, the taper. You guys have seen them in candelabras everywhere, little candle stand, give great ambiance in Disney movies. But these are the most common spell candles. They come in different sizes, but you'll always notice it's a taper because it's fatter at the bottom than it is at the top. Then you have the little pillar candles. Pillar candles can be actually pretty tall, but this one's only about 6 inches, and these are actually really good for workings as well, for self-love spells and things like that. Not the only use for them, but it's one of them. A lot of people use pillar candles and cord cuttings. Taper candles work too. This is what's called a 7-day candle. These are great for deity work. This one has not been lit because it's not been claimed by a deity, and that's why I can show it on camera. We also have a candle for protection of our home that we light ever so often as well. And fun fact, people seem to forget that birthday candles work really well too. They go along with the color correspondences and they work just as well, they just burn a little faster. So if you've got a really quick spell that you want to work, I highly recommend a birthday candle. Then there's tea light candles. Tea light candles are great as well. They set the ambiance and they're also really good for spell candles and things like that. Now the next couple of candles I'm going to show you are custom candles that were made for me. This was a deity candle that was made for me. This was my deity candle before I had deities. It was what I lit when I was calling forth deities, but of course I had rules and regulations. They had to identify themselves. If they refuse to give you their name, that's not a deity. And this beautiful girl is also a custom candle made for me. This was for self-love magic as well as sleep magic. It's got a personalized symbol on it as well. I will be doing the color correlations in another video because that is actually a really in-depth thing. But if you're looking for books, Ray Buckland has Practical Candle Magic and Advanced Candle Magic, obvi. So those are really good books as well, but there's dozens on candle magic. And if you want to get custom made candles for your craft, just like I did, highly recommend Dream River Gift Shop. I'll tag them here in the video. She's absolutely amazing. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit, in the name of the trees, go fuck it up.
I have a witchy book review. Practical Protection Magic by Ellen Dugan. And as you can see by my tabs, I found it helpful. Now, some of you may be tempted to think, oh, I've been at this a while. I don't really need that. Maybe not. But here's the thing. She is extremely experienced, but she's also very practical, hence the name. She's also a very good, practically applicable writer. She writes in such a way that you get where she's going very quickly. And she's also a very entertaining writer. She has a way of telling stories and using analogy that makes it very, very easy to apply to your own life. And she gets into kind of the nitty-gritty of real life, not just magical, but mundane as well. Bullying, energy vampire, family members that don't respect boundaries, and everything in between. In short but sweet ceremonies.
Hey everyone, so I'm sure we all know that WitchTok is infamous for intention is everything. Well, let me actually show you something where intention is everything. So I'm going to talk about Joss paper or ancestor money. There's a couple different beliefs on how this works. Some people believe that if you burn ancestor money, it gives your ancestors energy in the afterlife or money in the afterlife. Some people think it helps pay off karmic debts. Or you can even just burn it as an offering. But regardless of what you choose to believe in, your intention is everything. So if you decide to burn the ancestor money as a way to give your ancestors energy, then that's what it's going to do. So there's a couple different kinds of ancestor money. Here's mine. And there's also some with the Jade Emperor. Regardless of which one you choose to burn, I don't think it truly matters. But that's my prerogative. Anyways, blessed be, guys.
Stitch this and tell me what your favorite herb is.
We Oh, you were serious, weren't you?
Good old Italian flat leaf parsley, baby.
No, this is not devil worship. This is the. I don't have a good answer.
Alright, my lovelies. Let's talk about protection wards. This can be used for protection. So can this. And so can this. I actually grow spiderwort outside in a pot because spiderwort, if something is off in its surroundings, the stamen of the flower will actually turn a different color. So it's my warning, something's amiss. I just look at my flowers and go, ooh, I need to do some more protection. I also use moon water, and we all have different ways of doing it. I'm not going to go through the exact steps for mine, because that's one of the things you keep secret, is if you're using something to protect yourself, don't give everybody the information. You can say, I use it, but don't tell them how. Alright, my lovelies? Alright, my
If we split up, we can cover more ground. I'll go right, and you go fuck yourself.
Greetings, I'm interrupting your scrolling if you are a witch. It is okay if you did not do anything for Beltane. Not all witches celebrate the will of the year. That does not mean you're a bad witch. Continue scrolling. Thank you.
Alright, so what is shadow work? First of all, shadow work is a psychology-based term. It was coined by Carl Jung, and all he did was he observed various forms of spiritual practice and then took the things he observed and brought them into mainstream psychology and gave it the term shadow work. So, it's not really any, well, yeah, it is different. We'll just call it that. It's different. But not by much. He took a very, very old, tried and true spiritual practice, or several, and he brought them into the mainstream. That's all shadow work is. That's it. And you don't technically have to do it if you don't want to. I mean, there's various reasons you want to, but you don't have to. And while we're on the subject, it's not just about trauma. It's not. It's also about, okay, I'll give you an example. You know how everybody's mind is blown right now because not everybody across the world uses green for wealth and prosperity work? Because not everybody's money is green. That's another part of it. It's about decolonizing and growing your empathy and expanding outside of self. So, yeah. Shamans, soul retrieval, that's what it's about. It's not just about the inner. It's about expanding out past you as well. That's how we're supposed to foster our connections with each other. And that's the reason why you see so much infighting in TikTok. It's responsible for triggers and our reaction to them. It's also the reason why we cause each other so much pain. Hurt people, and when you're missing aspects of yourself that make you whole, you're hurting.
Hey everyone, it's the day after Beltane and I wanted to take you with me as I redo my nature altar. So first I'm going to hand fill my bird feeder, and if you think that takes an awful lot of time, you're right, it does. But as I'm doing this, I like to push my energy to ask the nature spirits to accept my offering and to be allies. So next I'm just going to clean up the little altar space that I have, which is just a planter box. And I'm just going to rearrange the dirt so everything sits nicely, and I'm using these little fairy garden statues that I got at the dollar store that I thought would be perfect for an outdoor altar. So once everything's situated, I'm just going to add some birdseed to the top of the planter box because I have larger birds and squirrels that like to visit me, and I'm going to draw a pentacle in the birdseed. And lastly, I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup to clean up the altar space, and that's it guys. Blessed be.
Hello chickadees, so today we're talking about chamomile, which is behind me. Some common uses of chamomile is insomnia, anxiety, menopausal depression, loss of appetite, tummy upset, gastric ulcers, diarrhea, colic, aches and pains of the flu, teething, neuralgia, vertigo, and it's actually really good on pink eye. You put the tea bags in hot water and then you put them on your eyes. Contraindications: it may cause an allergic reaction for people sensitive to the Asteraceae, the aster family. So if you're allergic to anything in the aster family, don't use it. But yeah, that is my friend chamomile, and I use it quite a bit. So have a good day.
What it does is it comes into the amethyst, and there's a tank underneath here that is about...
So unlimited amethyst charged moon water. That's what you said. I mean...
So I bought a crystal ball the other day, and when I bought it, the lady looked at me really seriously and she was like, "Do not ever leave this uncovered when you are not home." And I was like, okay, like, is because of spirits or something, right? And she goes, "No, because if the sun hits it in a weird way, it's gonna burn your fucking house down."
What did you get?
You need to take back control of your happiness. Quit putting it in someone else's hands. Make up your mind that no matter what people do, no matter what they say, how they treat you, they're not going to steal your joy.
Hey, straws of truth. Should I have another coffee? No! Should I have a water?
This is Derry. I want to talk about an alternative to your typical smudge bundle. You know, this one was very lovingly created for me. There's no white sage in here, but this is gorgeous to look at, and I love it, and I'm almost afraid to burn it. I will if I have to, but my favorite alternative to smudging or smoke cleansing that way is to make a loose incense. And how do you make a loose incense? And loose incense is an alternative for cleansing. You blend together herbs, flowers, resins, and essential oils. You combine the resins and the oils first in a mortar and pestle, and then the bark or berries or dried herbs, flowers, or powders. And I create them in either my mortar and pestle or my coffee grinder, depending on the consistency that I want. And this is one that I made a while ago called a Serenity Loose Incense. And it has frankincense, chamomile, lavender, rose, thyme, mugwort, juniper, lavender oil, rose oil, and rosemary oil. If you can see it, look how pretty that is. Oh, and it smells amazing. And then you do the typical thing of you get a charcoal disc and you put it in a fire-safe container, just like I have here. Can't see it, but it is white. And then I take a pinch of it and I put it in my cauldron and see how it's smoking, and then I will take a feather or my hand and just walk around my space or walk around myself or put it on myself and just cleanse. And this is to just bring me calm and, serenity and that's just my alternative to when I smoke cleanse with loose incense versus a typical bundle. You can do bundles, but, as we've all heard, do rosemary, cedar, things like that. But yeah, please make sure that your herbs and resins and whatever you use is ethically sourced and it's not endangered. It's not on an endangered list anywhere. Like Palo Santo, like white sage, and make sure it's an open practice. Make sure that the herbs are not endangered or closed. So, research is a wonderful thing, and in this path you have to. I love you, and I hope you all have a great day.
It's the full moon, so get your water ready and get your offering ready.
Merry meet witches. Let's talk about double action candles. Okay? Purpose is, the black is to reverse or repel what you want. The color is to draw in what you need or desire. Traditionally, this one would need to be budded. If you want to know how to bud a candle, let me know. But you light the black portion first, reverse or repel. Will burn down to what you desire, what you want. You can dress these candles. It's like a double spell. I'll give you an example. You got some bad money habits and you need money. Here you go. Oh, I got these candles from Honeyvine Magicals, by the way. Blessed be.
Hello chickadees! So today we're going to talk about Rhodiola. The scientific name is Rhodiola rosacea. The common uses are depression. It's very good for athletes. Altitude sickness. It's very stimulating. It's for hard-working people and hard-playing people. It's great for people who are on chemo and radiation. It's good for an abnormal heart rhythm, and it's very drying, and it's a winter immunity herb. Contraindications is do not use in manic depression, can cause vivid dreams or sleep disturbances. So it's a very powerful plant. But yeah. Have a good day.
Now we're going to talk about Ansus. It's a rune that represents communication and divination. Also has really strong ties to Odin, which, what doesn't? This is a rune that speaks to receiving and transmuting wisdom. This is a rune of song and poetry and creativity, the passing of wisdom. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. It can be used to increase clairvoyant abilities, to facilitate convincing and magnetic speech. It can be used to facilitate wisdom, inspiration, and divine communication.
Witchy friends, stitch this and tell me a good witch tip.
The most important witch tip that I can give is don't forget to ground yourself. And it can be as simple as, like you can see I'm doing, barefoot. I hope you can see my feet, but yeah, ground yourself often.
Greeting. Trigger warning. Nope, that's cold. ADHD brain. I had an experience with death magic last night that I've never had before. And like I said, trigger warning. So there are multiple different layers behind death magic. One that I've never had to deal with is helping a soul pass on. I cannot even describe the way that it felt. It definitely changed something in me. Trigger warning. Simultaneously, it was the most horrible, most beautiful, most saddening thing that I've ever had to do and or experience. All the death witches on here that do this on a regular basis, kudos to you, because holy shit. So yeah, new development with death magic. Or shall I say, in a fucked up way, a new level with death magic.